Alright, so when I was a kid, I physically went out and played with my friends. It was rare for there to be a day when we weren't all hanging out. As a result of this, we created many different games that we would play, one of those games being called bow tag. The rules are simple. You need one toy bow, one or two arrows, and a place to play. In this case, it was just my house. There were also times where we played with accessories such as shields or swords, but I will talk about the modifiers later. Anyway, the way you would play is just like normal tag, except with a bow and arrow. The person who is it would have the bow and arrow, and everyone else would run around the house and wait to make their next move. Then the person who was it would run around looking for people. Once they spotted someone, they would try to shoot them with the bow and arrow. If the person who was it tagged someone with the arrow, then the tagged player was now it. So then the person who was it puts their bow down where they were and ran off, and then the new it would go pick that up. And so the cycle repeats. Now, the arrows we played with had foam at the end of them, so it's not like they hurt. However, if someone was decently close to someone else and they pulled the arrow back really far, it could hurt, so we made rules against that. Bow tag was probably our favorite game to play. We would spend hours shooting at each other, not to mention the arrows we played with had a little whistle in them, so whenever there was a shot, everyone would know because we could hear the whistle. And this means my dad would hear it as well, and he hated that game. He was always fearful of things breaking and constantly yelled at us for being too loud. We never ended up breaking anything, at least to my knowledge, so I guess we got lucky there. So remember how I said we played with accessories? Well, I had this huge box with a bunch of swords and shields and costumes, so we would spend 10 to 20 minutes before the game gearing up. I always wore the same thing. I had a fedora, a cape, a non-typical frisbee, and a twister ring. This was used to keep everything in place. And I had two small foam daggers that I would stick through the frisbee. We wouldn't use any of the swords to hit the person who was it, we would just use them as shields to block the incoming arrows, and if we successfully blocked the arrow, we weren't it. So everyone geared up and then we would go to play as normal. And thinking back on it, we also had little pillows that we would carry around as shields as well, and I think we were also allowed to throw them at the person who was it, so everyone would try to carry around one or two of those. One thing I remember trying was using my cape as a shield. What I would do is stretch the top and bottom to make it stiffer, then attempt to block arrows. This didn't work out too well because I ended up making my vision worse, and my cape wasn't super long so it didn't cover much of my body, so I was just better off swinging at the arrows with my sword. Sometimes we would take bow tag outside, however this didn't work as well as we thought it would. My house was like a big donut, so we could hide in different locations and move around without always being in sight of the person who was it. However, outside there wasn't much cover. It turned into how long does it take to hit someone instead of a hide and search game. Plus, if the day was windy, the arrows would shake and not reach the target. Overall, bow tag is a game best played inside. Besides, we had a different game that we preferred to play outside. That was called Friends and Betrayals, but I will talk about that game in a different animated story. Anyway, that's going to be it for me. If you enjoyed, you can leave a like and subscribe for more content similar to this, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.